Hi there, and welcome to ClassMaker 2019. This video will show you step by step how to create your student class lists from the student template files that you used before. After you open ClassMaker 2019, the first step is to simply open the database file. You do this by clicking the button on the left-hand side of the window. You will notice that all the buttons are on the left-hand side and all the student names and summary files will be on the right hand side. So to open a database, we simply click Open Database. This brings up another window where we can choose the database that we're interested in doing. We'll choose the same name that we chose in the previous demo. Double click that. ClassMaker will analyze the file and bring up a quick summary of what is in the database file that you selected. It tells you that the students are in first name, last name format. The number of students is 84, with 51% of them female. The average number of friends for each student is 4. The number of essential matches that you have is 3. And the number of incompatible student pairs you have is 15 for this database file. So we close that by hitting OK. The next thing to do is we'll just simply create some classes using the Make Classes button. We click there. ClassMaker goes through and creates up to 10 class lists where all the students have a friend, all the essentials are matched, and all the incompatible student pairs are enabled so that none of those are together. It's created 10 successful combinations in about 1.5 seconds. It will show you the classes over here. We have 4 classes in this case of 21 students each. It gives the percentage of female in that particular class from 38 to 66 to 81 to 19. The average numeracy, literacy, behaviour and participation levels, and it also shows the numbers of each student that are in each of the categories. So from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or low to high, or A to E. And in this case, you can see that the numeracy level for Class A was particularly high at 3.7 because it has 10 students that were rated as a 5. And it gives the same values for all their numbers through the class list. It gives you the number of friendless students that are in each class, in this case it's 0, number of incompatible, which is also 0, and it also gives the breakdown of the previous class lists that were used to create the database file. In this case, we had 7 students that were in Class A, 3 that were in Class B, 6 that were in Class D, 5 that were in Class RA. And you can see that you've got the 4 classes and you can choose the best class list that you'd like. You can select the class lists by using the arrows, and you can have a look at how the numbers change as it goes through. You can see in this case we have 85.7% girls in Class B. Now this is probably not an ideal situation. In order to fix this, you go back choosing the options menu and change the value for maximum gender split. In this case it was set to 100%. So ClassMaker will, if it can, create a class where there are 100% girls or boys. In this case we don't really want that, so we'll choose this button. When we select that, we get a value of the current gender split of being 51.2 and a suggestion of the numbers that you might want to use between 56 and 100%. If we choose a value that's too low, for instance 52%, there's a very good chance that ClassMaker will not be able to create any classes that have a gender split less than or very close to the actual gender split for the classes. So in this case, we'll choose the number that it suggests, 56, hit OK, and then we'll hit Make Classes again. ClassMaker takes a little bit longer this time, 2.8 seconds, but you can see in this case the female ratio is no greater than 56%, and in this case it's actually lower than about 3%. And you can see that for all the classes that it creates, this female percentage gender ratio is set at 56% or below. Let's say we don't want to make 4 classes. Let's say we want to have 3 classes. In order to change the number of classes, we go to Sort Parameters, hit the button marked Number of Classes, and then we'll say we want to have 3 classes. And after we have 3 classes, you can see the ClassMaker has set the number of students to be an equal number across the 3 classes. We then hit Make Classes again, and ClassMaker will go through and create 5 or 10 class sets where everyone has a friend, all the essentials are matched, all the incompatibles are apart, and the student names are shown here with percentages and all the others shown below in the areas underneath the class lists. And you can go through and check these again. Let's say you don't want equal number of classes. We'll set it back to 4 classes, but we don't want to have, we want to have a small class A. Let's say we want to make a composite class with another year level. So we want half a class for class A, but 3 larger classes for class B, C, and D. In order to do that, we go to Options, manually choose class sizes, and it will bring up a box that will ask for what is the number of students in class A. In this case, we'll make it 10. We've got 74 students left, so the next one we'll look at is, say, 26 students in class B. We'll make 24 students in class C, and there's 24 students left in class D. So now you can see the number of students in the heading above each of the class lists. We'll hit Make Classes again. ClassMaker will go through and create half a class where everyone's got a friend, all the essentials are matched, all the incompatibles are apart. The female gender ratio is no greater than 55% or lower than 56% or lower than 44%. And the student names and averages are all written there. If ever you've got a question about how to use ClassMaker, you can press the User Guide button, and that will bring up, obviously, the ClassMaker User Guide. And this will give you information about how to create your classes. So if you've got a question about how to put in friend requests, you can select there, and it will tell you how to create friend requests. You can look at how to work with teachers in ClassMaker, and that will give you more information. You can always use the user guide at any time. There is an index at the back and a table of contents at the front. After you've created your student database file and your class lists like this, you can then save them. There are 2 options for saving database files. You can save class list files. You can save them in summary format or in full data format. The summary format is useful for when you've finished with your class lists and you want to send them off to another database, such as a Word file or back into your student records data file, and that is for a final class lists only. But you can also save it in a full data file if you want to go back and edit it later. So let's do that. For this cases, we got full sort of data file for Year 1 2019 class list demo copy, and we'll call that 4 classes, and we'll save that. The next video will show you how to tweak those students across different classes using the saved file that we just chose then.